Good afternoon. You're watching Business World Live. I'm Jes Delos Santos. Let's take a look at how the local bourse closed today, Wednesday. All right, you have the local bourse ending the day little change despite posting quite hefty gains at the mid trading day here. Shares at one point rose to as high as 6,593, as you can see right this peak right here, before making a steep decline below yesterday's close. But a last minute buying pushing shares higher by 0.1% to 6,566.83. That as a country once again puts in place a ban on foreign entry into the country. Foreigners and returning Filipinos who are not overseas workers will not be allowed entry. That's going to be from March 20th until April 19. Now, passenger volume to the main gateway has also been capped at 1,500 daily. That's going to be for a month, beginning March 18 to April 18. Now, these limits are meant to curb as well the spread of a coronavirus variants in the country, especially in the metro. You have Philippine Airlines saying via Facebook that it's looking into the possibility of canceling some international flights. That's after announcing a few days back, that they are staying afloat. This as they try to mount once again overseas flights to some key locations. But that plan, it seems, is going to be put on hold for now. Immediate reaction after that bit of news, PAL shares slid to as low as 5 pesos and 85 centavos a share, as you can see in this chart right here, represented by the white line. But they have somehow pared back those losses to end the day lower still by 0.5% to 6 pesos and 10 centavos a share. Now, Cebu Pacific, though fared better here, as you can see, represented by the orange line, priced now at 43 pesos and 90 centavos a piece, increasing by 2.6%. This new set of travel orders is meant to curb rising infections, which has so far reached highs seen in July last year. That's according to the health department, with cases surpassing the 4,000 mark for the fifth straight day. Now, the uptrend in infections has caused the main index to decline as over 8% so far this year. Bloomberg makes an interesting comparison here. If you try to take a look at this chart, you'd see here the decline in the benchmark is the opposite of what has so far been a 5% gain by global equities. As you can see, if we try to put out the chart here, you'd see white line represented by the PSEi is down so far 8% year to date. Whereas you compare that with MSCI rather, all country world index, which is so far enjoying a 5% gain here, also parallel to how the index has been declining. You'd see here, just when the cases have been rising, as represented by the third panel, you'd see the index as well making a steeper decline. Now, Gerard Abad, CIO of AB Capital Investment, says fears that the latest surge will bring back stricter lockdowns and slow economic recovery. Year to date, if you try to take a look at our stocks here, you'd see of the 30 members of the Bellwether Index, only 4 stocks are in the green, headed by FGen, which is making for a stronger push for renewable energy. The latest being putting on offer 690 megawatts of geothermal power for the government's green energy option program. The stock so far year to date is up 9.4%, despite ending the day flat at 30 pesos and 80 centavos a share. Also, one of our gainers so far year to date, ICTSI, is up 3.3%, now at 127.60. BPI also in the green here, edging higher by 3% so far this year, now at 83 pesos and 80 a share. Also, you have enjoying a bit of an upside here so far this year. Emperador also increasing by 1.8%. Last year's winners, though, the likes of PLDT, Pure Gold, and URC not enjoying the same tide this year. You have PLDT down over 2%. URC also here inching lower by 18% so far this year. Now, here are other headlines we're keeping our eyes on. PNB President CEO Wick Veloso has been elected as the new president of the Bankers Association of the Philippines. Velasco succeeds BPI President and Chief Executive Cesar Consing. Velasco says that the industry group would continue to support the government's efforts in speeding up economic recovery amid the pandemic. The group had already worked alongside legislators in crafting stimulus measures like the Bayanihan Acts 1 and 2 and the FISC law. Universal and commercial banks' cumulative net income plunged by more than a third in 2020 to 143 billion pesos as more lenders scaled loan loss provisions amid the health crisis. The Trade Department is urging the Philippine exporters to tap opportunities in markets under the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership or RCEP. The Philippine Star reports that exporters are being encouraged to increase shipments to countries part of the RCEP deal, 7 of which are already top export markets for the country. These are Japan, China, Hong Kong, Thailand, Singapore, Taiwan, and Korea. The DTI says Philippine exports saw year-on-year growth in January among markets in China, Thailand, and Taiwan. The department says medical instrument exports posted the biggest jump at 83% in January. Exports of chemicals, iron, steel, and textile products also saw respective increases in the same month. Now we'll have more stories when Business World Live returns. Stay with us. And we're back here on Business World Live. I'm Jes Delos Santos. Here are other headlines we're keeping our eyes on. NEDA says the Department of Water Resources needs to be established to better deal with private sector investors. Economic Planning Assistant Secretary Roderick Planta said a Department of Water Resources would be the private sector's designated partner in developing water resources. He added that unifying the management of more than 30 agencies involved in water resources is important. The Philippine Institute for Development Studies agrees with this. In a policy note, the institute said overlapping and sometimes conflicting regulations in the water sector is holding back the industry's growth. PIDS said the inconsistent levels of water service across the country is a testament to how water agencies often fail to coordinate policy planning, data monitoring, and infrastructure programs. Now, to address these issues, PIDS said it's necessary to have a single coordinating body unifying technical regulations and operational standards in the water sector. Now, still on water utility, Albay 2nd District Representative Joey Salceda is urging the private sector to invest in water distribution projects for the farming industry. That's in order to meet the growing demand for water irrigation systems in the countryside. Salceda told the Philippine Star that more than 70% of water demand in the country goes to agriculture, but the majority of investments in the water sector are all allocated for household and industrial use only. Salceda says reallocation of private funds to water projects in the farm sector raises the necessity of putting up the Department of Water Resources. Once formalized, the new agency would be tasked to explore innovations that would allow private companies to maximize its resources. And those are the biggest news this trading day, March 17, 2021. Catch Business World Live again tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. for the market open and 3:15 p.m. for the market close. I'm Jes Delos Santos. We are One News. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines.